Madam, whether my voice is audible?
Yes, sir. You are audible only, sir.
Okay, okay. Thank you, madam.
Sir, we will give you the presenter option, sir. Will you upload your PPT or send to us, sir?
Madam, shall I present?
Yes, sir. But at the end of the seminar, you send to us, sir. We
Okay,
have
okay,
to
madam.
send to.
Okay, madam.
Okay, sir. Good evening, all.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Divya.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Usha. Good evening, Halima, Vanita.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Da. Sir, let us wait till Principal Ma'am and Director Sir joins.
Okay,
Is
ma'am.
it okay, sir?
Okay.
Okay, sir. Let us wait for some more 9 minutes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening. ஆரம்பிச்சிட்டிங்களா?
இல்ல சார், உங்களுக்காகவும் பிரின்சிபல் மேம்காகவும் we are all waiting, sir.
வந்துட்டாங்களா? ரிசோர்ஸ் பர்சன்
ரிசோர்ஸ் பர்சன் வந்துட்டாங்க சார்.
அப்போ இவங்கள ஒரு 5 மினிட்ஸ் தான். இப்போ உள்ள வந்துடலாமா? பார்க்கலாம்.
ஓகே சார்.
ஒரு நிமிஷம். மேடம் கிட்ட பேசுங்க. வராங்கன்னா சொல்லுங்க. உள்ள வந்துட்டு அப்புறம் நாங்க ரிசர்ச்க்குள்ள வந்துட்டோம்.
ஓகே சார். அப்போ மேம் கால் பண்ணவா சார்?
கால் பண்ணி கேளுங்க மேடம். வரீங்களான்னு கேளுங்க. முதல்ல இதை முடிச்சுட்டோம். சார் சொன்னாரு இது ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணி விட்டுட்டோம்னா அங்க போய்க்கலான்னு மாதிரி கேட்டாரு. அதை உங்கள்கிட்ட கேட்க சொன்ன கேட்டு.
சரிங்க சார்.
பேசிட்டு கூப்பிடுங்க.
கண்டிப்பா சார். வச்சுறேன்.
Good morning. Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening.
Good evening, Sendil Kumari.
Usha, you can start the meeting, ma'am.
Good evening,
Sir
ma'am.
also come. Sir is in the IQAC guest. You can start, ma'am, Usha.
Okay, okay, ma'am. Good evening to all. On behalf of the management, principal, faculty members, student of the Dasim Bibi Abdul Qadir College for Women and Department of Computer Science, I welcome you all for attending the knowledgeable 5 days faculty development program on research challenges for beginners. Now we are entering to the day 1 of 5-day faculty development program. The topic is replicated execution environment, a prevention mechanism against code injection attacks. Prayer is the means of sustaining a faith that at times can grow weak. The power of prayer is enriching, uplifting to hear our God speak. May I now call upon Ms. A. Safrin Fahia, 3rd BSc Information Technology, to invoke the blessings of Almighty.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. والتين وزيتون وطور سنين وهذا البلد العظيم لقد خلقنا الإنسان في أحسن تقويم ثم رددناه أسفل سافلين إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات فلهم أجر غير ممنون وما يكذبك بعد بالدين صدق أليس الله بأحكم الحاكمين صدق الله العظيم. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, by the fig and the olive, and the Mount Sinai, and the city of security. Certainly we have created man in the finest of mold. Then we reverse him to the lowest of the low. Except those who believe and do righteous deeds, for them is a reward without end. Then what can after this contradict see as due to judgment to come? Is not Allah the wisest of judges? Thank you all.
Thank you, Ms. A. Safrin Fahia. Coming together is the beginning. Keeping together is progress. Working together is success. Never neglect an opportunity for improvement. Look for the opportunity in every situation to learn and grow in wisdom. May I now call upon Ma'am Dr. B. Sendil Kumari, Head in Charge, Department of Computer Science, to welcome the gathering.
A pleasant good evening and a warm welcome to one and all who present here. Talent wins games, but teamwork and intelligence wins championships. Yes, we are all here together, Department of Computer Science, for 5-day faculty development program on research challenges for beginners. I deem it a great honor and privilege to propose welcome address on this 5 days faculty development program. I would like to express my profound gratitude to our management, principal ma'am and director sir for giving me this opportunity to deliver welcome address in this esteemed institution. Thank you ma'am. Thank you sir. Research is seeing what everybody else has seen and thinking what nobody else has thought. I would like to welcome our today's session resource person, Mr. B. John Samuel, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Sedamal Engineering College, Ramanapuram. He has doing his PhD and going to submit thesis at the end of this month. His research topic is Replicated Execution Environment, a prevention mechanism against code injection attacks. He has completed ME in Mohammad Sadak Engineering College. He has acted as a resource person in AICTE sponsored and ATL sponsored faculty development and training programs and presented the topic Introduction to Blockchain. He has acted as a resource person in various FDP and presented various technical and non-technical topics. He has jointly published a patent titled Intelligent Shoes for the Uneven Walking Area for Visually Challenged Persons in January of this year. We welcome you to deliver the topic today's session, sir. Last but not least, I would like to welcome all the faculty members from various institutions. I welcome you all. Over to Usha.
Thank you, ma'am. Unity is strength. When there is teamwork and collaboration, wonderful things can be achieved. May I request our principal madam, Dr. S. Sumaya, to deliver the inaugural address.
Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi barakatuh. May Allah's peace and blessings be upon all of us. I'm very happy to be here to deliver the inaugural address for this workshop. I know through the introductory and welcome address, Dr. Sendil Kumari has highlighted the resource person's keen interest on the area which she has highlighted. I'm very happy that our resource person has taken his time to come over to this platform to make everyone vibrant in the explorative areas, in the emerging areas of computer science. I'm very happy. I'm thankful to the resource person as well as the organizing committee for bringing this wonderful recent trends in the area of computer science. Thank you, one and all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. May I now call upon Sir Dr. M.S. Irfan Ahmad, Director, Research and Industry Institution Relations, GET, Department of Computer Science, to deliver the keynote address. Over to you, sir.
Assalamu alaikum all. I think somebody has opened his mic. So every people please unmute your audio. Let me first congratulate the team Computer Science for organizing this particular event. As Madam has pointed out, the resource person is young and new. That is, I think he is about to complete his doctorate. I think the apt person you people have chosen, because the person who is in verge of completion will know what type of what do you call it, challenges a research person is having. I think he's the right person to start up with this particular 5-day workshop. I think he can share his views, what type of challenges he has faced to complete this particular research. I welcome Mr. John Samuel for this today's session. I welcome you, sir. So John Samuel, are you there?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I think I've seen his expertise in network area, and I've seen his resume also. It's quite interesting. He was working with some kind of malicious attacks, and then also he's working with some GPRS systems, and mostly he's spending more time with network related works. I hope this is an emerging trend. A lot of research areas are open in network area. So hope our faculty and the people, those who have joined in this particular session, will exploit his expertise and do better. See, as a youngster, as a young researcher, you might have seen a lot of new initiative, what is happening in the market. I hope Samuel will give you a lot of limelights to all this new young budding researchers. All the best for the initiative taken by Computer Science Department. All the best for this particular program. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Next, I would like to welcome the resource person, Mr. M. John Samuel, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science, Saidamal Engineering College, Ramanathapuram, to take over the session. Sir.
Yeah, thank you, madam.
Dr. Samuel, you can just open your video.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yes, Samuel.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, participants. Good evening, one and all. First of all, I would like to thank God the Almighty for giving me the opportunity to share my idea and to share my research topic in this 5 days faculty development program. And I would thank our Tasim Bibi College principal, research director, as well as the entire team of this organizing team to invite me and to give me an opportunity to share my views. Right. So actually, my research topic is, I think I have shared the screen. Yeah, can you able to see my screen?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. And my title is, as ma'am told, it's Replicated Execution Environment, a prevention mechanism against code injection attacks. So it comes under the field of network security, or we can say it in system security, or we can say it is in a dependable and secure computing. Right. So actually, at the beginning of my research journey, I have seen a lot of topic, and actually I confused to select the topic because at that time the cloud computing, data mining are very what we can say. So most of the people selected those topics. But I would like to select the network security because you see there are a lot of things still not addressed, a lot of attacks and a lot of security issues are in the recent years. So I took this topic, especially I took it in the field of code injection attack. So before entering into the topic, I would like to give some overview and then let me start my research topic. So what I have done in my research and what it can be in future. So like this, I want to take it out. So first of all, I would like to acknowledge the authors because I used a lot of images, a lot of animations, and some text contents from various web resources, as well as from many articles. So I would like to acknowledge the authors of those contents and figures which I used in this presentation. And this is my agenda. So I think this 90 minutes we are going to see these things. First, I would like to present some survey results regarding the security attacks. Okay, so what kind of attacks are recently happened? So likewise, I'm taking it to a survey, and then I would like to give a overview of security. Just I'm not going to give that much concentration in this overview. Just I would like to say what security is. And then I would like to present my topic that is code injection attacks. So what is code injection attack? And I would like to explain its types. And then I would like to show a little demo. So how the code injection attack may happen even in our daily life or even in our application, how it may impact. So likewise, I have created a demo application. So I would like to show a demo on this code injection. And then my proposed area. So that is the prevention mechanism for this particular code injection attack. So I have presented a scheme called replicated execution environment, or I can say it as multivariant execution environment. So this is the scheme I proposed. And so each and every scheme will be having its own advantage and it having its own drawbacks. So I want to give some drawbacks in my idea. So that means maybe we can in future we can work it in that area so that we can overcome those drawbacks. And also I would like to present some related works which are now introduced. So these related works also I would like to present here. And finally, if possible and if time permits, I would like to present the topic of blockchain because now I am doing or now I am extending my work to implement in blockchain area. So I think if possible and if time permits, let me explain what blockchain is. And I would like to give a base intro, not much in technical, but I would like to give a base intro on blockchain. So as I told, my first thing is some statistic related to security. So first thing is deals with the malware statistics. Right, we know what malware is or what malicious software is. That means it's a special kind of code, or we can say it is a piece of code that will harm our data or that will harm our devices, maybe mobile devices or maybe computer devices. So the people intend to write this kind of harmful coding to get over our resources. So that is the main thing. So here, if you see the malware attack, so you can see the graph, so how much it increased. So in 2009, how much it was, and in 2018, how much it was. So likewise, so in our day-to-day life, so the malware or the malicious software attacks are increased by means of various what we can say by means of various resources like in terms of emails or in terms of social media or in terms of even text messages, right? So likewise, it's getting increased. So in this, statistics say, so 92% of malware is delivered by email. So we are using email for many official things, but a statistics said, so 92% of malware is delivered by email. And you see, in 2018, the mobile malware is increased by 54% compared to its previous year, that is 2017. So that much malware variants, let's see that I have mentioned not malware variants. So that much amount it is increased. And you see, so these malwares are maximum 99.9 percentage because of third-party app stores. So we know for Android, we are using Google Play Store. And if you are using iOS, there is App Store. But beyond that, there are a lot of app stores are there. As well as people would like to jailbreak their devices, right? Maybe if you are an iPhone user, they don't want to stay in iOS itself. They just want to jailbreak. Similarly, Android owners are want to use some custom ROMs. Then they want to install some more apps that is not in the Play Store or that is not in the App Store. So because of that, third-party app stores, almost 99 point, that means almost 100% of malware are because of that, right? So, and you see, the most of the mobile malwares, because we are using daily the mobile devices, we are using the mobile devices daily. So only I'm just put that statistics. So 90%, 98% of malicious software in mobile devices target our Android devices. right? Because the attacker will know this. Most of the people are using Android devices and they don't know why they are giving permissions for apps. Because most of the time, so for example, I'm saying if you are using a calculator for the first time, you see, it will ask permissions for make calls. Your first time calculator user in your Android mobile device means you can see it will ask the permission to make phone calls as well as to manage your contact books. We don't know, but we will allow it. Right. So these are the things we are permitting the malware to get into our devices. And one more statistic says the Mac OS, because Mac OS mostly people say it will be a secured OS, but it says in 2019 the malware has been increased by 165%. Right. So this is regarding malware. Now we know malware are in various forms. Maybe it may be in Trojans, it may be as a spyware, it may be as a ransomware. Okay, so we see ransomware today maximum the corporate companies are affected by this ransomware. Maybe corporate companies, sometimes educational institutions are also affected by ransomware. So the ransomware it's also a kind of malicious software. It will deny the access to your own data. So you cannot access your own data, or you cannot access your data which is present in your hard disk or which is present in your flash drives. So that is called as ransomware. Actually, these people, these attackers will encrypt your data. Just they will inject a code into your hard disk, or inject a code into your mobile devices, or inject a code into your flash drive, and they will encrypt all the data which is present in that particular storage device. So you cannot access or you cannot open, and they will ask ransom to decrypt that data. But it is not sure whether if you pay that ransom, whether they will decrypt or not going to decrypt, that is not sure. We cannot give surety for that, but they demand ransom. Right, so that is called as ransomware. So recently, many corporate companies are affected by this one. Actually, a statistics say, so 75% of companies infected with ransomware, which they are running up-to-date endpoint protection. So they are thinking they are keeping a very secure environment, but actually they are also affected, or they are also a victim of this ransomware. Maybe some of us may see sometimes in our mobile phones too, we cannot access some of our data. Some data may in an encrypted form. Sometimes, they're not in all the times. Maybe some of you may experience these things. So that is called as ransomware. So they encrypt our data and they demand ransom. But they can, we won't give surety after paying ransom whether they will decrypt or not. Right. So in 2019, 68,000 new ransomware Trojans were detected in mobile devices alone. So this is a tragedy. So even in it's not giving up our mobiles also. So in our mobiles also, mobile devices also, this kind of ransomware is affecting, and we may fall to this as a victim. Right. So the next important one is cryptojacking. So cryptojacking is unauthorized use of maybe our computer or our laptop or our mobile devices to mine the cryptocurrency. Right? So those who are using cryptocurrencies may want to mine the cryptocurrency using our devices. So our computational resources, like maybe processing capacity, maybe our RAM, our storage devices, our networks. So they would like to use our resources. So this is also by injecting some code into our devices, into our mobile devices or into our personal computers, and they will load some kind of mining code into our computer. So maximum this kind of code are injected by malicious JavaScript code. So we are not, we cannot say maybe I'm not give assurance that my computer is not cryptojack. Maybe I'm not sure. So we can find it by very easy. So if our computer is loading longer time comparing to the usual, maybe 5 to 10 minutes regularly, means that means even our PCs or our mobiles also cryptojack. Okay, because we know, so our regular time to booting or regular time to get open a application or to boot a operating system, we know our regular timing. And even sometimes due to some updates it may delay, but if it regularly takes longer time means, then even our computer or our mobile devices also cryptojack. So nowadays maximum most of the devices are cryptojack unknowingly. So this is also a sad part of these things, right? So this actually I have included these three statistics only. Apart from this, also there are a lot of things are there. Even social media, there are a lot of attacks using social media, because we know we are keen to use some kind of social media like Facebook, Insta. So they will post a picture, like maybe that picture may contain 1 to 1,000 numbers. They will ask for a missing number. But actually what we do is we will keen to answer that one, but that is we are in a trap. We may fall as a victim, right? So likewise, there are a lot of attacks are going on. So these three actually I included because of very we can see it everywhere. So for this reason, I included these three things, right? So and one more statistic says, so the cost of data breach, so that globally every government is spending average. So year by year, you can see it's in an increasing stage only, right? Now, I would like to say what security is and how we are saying that our computer is under attack. So we know the security is measured as CIA triad. Okay. So if you go anywhere, the security can be measured very simply in the form of CIA triad. That is confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So in this, if any one of these getting violated means, that means we are under an attack. So we know confidentiality. So our information should be in a secure place, or it may be in a secure manner. So privacy is very important. Access control is very important. So that secrecy is very important. If it is violated, that confidentiality property or the secrecy property is violated. So by some kind of encryptions and some kind of authentications, we are maintaining the confidentiality. And next, integrity. When it comes to integrity, you see, when it comes to integrity, so the message integrity is very important. So there should not be any replications, or there should not be any modifications in either client side or server side, or we can say it as sender side or receiver side. Right? So this integrity also should be maintained. Right? So this we can maintain it by some hashing algorithms, or we can using MD5s, So likewise, we use and we can maintain the integrity. If the originality of the message is changed means the integrity property is violated. And the third one is availability. Yeah, the resource availability is very important thing. Right? Because some in some places we may see the denial of service attacks. That is, the attacker wants to that their main aim is to not getting the resources for the particular or for the intended users. So they will use some kind of denial of service attacks. So for that also, maybe we can provide some authentication and we can improve the architectures, hardware architectures and hardware infrastructures to provide the availability, right? So these three plays a very important role in the area of security. In this, if any one of these is violated means, then the entire security is violated. That means we are victim for particular attack or our device is under attack. So we have to address this. So based on this only, just I showed the statistics. So I showed the statistics based on this. Either any one of the property or all the three property may be getting affected. Right. So we want to preserve this. But actually, nowadays we know our in our day-to-day life the interconnected devices are increased due to the internet era. Our devices increased. Also, we are using internet because many internet service provider giving internet at very low cost. So in every devices, we are taking a mobile phone, it will be we will use internet. If you are taking our laptop, we will use internet. If you are taking your desktop, we will use internet. So the number of interconnected devices are in increasing manner. So the attackers also want to make use of this kind of resources, as well as they also want to read our data. Also, they want to change our data. So we have to address these issues. So as we seen in the statistics, there are a lot of methods they are following, like malicious softwares, like ransomware, like cryptojacking, like social engineering. So likewise, they are using lot of methods to attack a system. So in that, they are using one method. So that is called as code injection. So one of the method, that's all. It's a common term. Code injection is a common term. That's all. So it's a attack that inject code into an application, or we can say that inject some kind of malicious code into a particular application. So that is called as code injection attack, which is a common name. We are going to see its types. Right. Or we can say the code injection as a remote procedure call or remote code execution. So because maximum of the time it will be executed in a remote manner. So actually why it happens means because of the input validation flaw. So just I will show the reason in the next slide. So because of input validation flaw, the attacker will introduce some malicious code into the application and he will execute it in a remote manner. So maximum of the applications or maximum of our code, whether it may be developed in a manner of web application or mobile application or desktop based applications, maximum of the time we are not validating the inputs, as well as we are not validating our code properly. So that is the main reason this code injection attack happens. Right. So you see, it occurs when an application executes. So it occurs when an application executes code without validating it first. As I told, because of uh, uh, just what I say, without validating the code, we may get some wrong course of execution. And as well as by processing some kind of invalid data, because most of the applications are dynamic applications, so it will have some kind of input fields. So user may sometimes enter some kind of invalid data. So this also will cause a exploitation, right? And the code injected will executed in server side, and it will change the course of execution. So maximum, these attackers target the web application. So they will inject some kind of codes in web application, maybe in PHP or maybe in HTML or maybe in SQL. They inject some codes and they take control of the entire application. So that is the generic tag the code injection is. Now, I would like to show what is the reason for this code injection attack. The first one is lack of proper input validation. Like, as I told, we are using dynamic applications. We are using dynamic websites. We are using dynamic mobile apps. So in that, most of the application will have some kind of input fields. So if the developer of that particular application, if he doesn't include proper input validation means, or if he does not provide proper input validators means, then it may cause code injection attack, or it may lead to a severe code injection attack. So if, for example, if the input field have escape characters or special symbols or some kind of termination characters, if it has means, sometimes in some applications may cause wrong course of execution, and then the attacker may take over the entire application. Right? This is one reason, because of input validation, not no proper input validation. And the second one is dynamic evaluation of user input. Actually, the dynamic evaluation is necessary, but if we apply it on raw user input means, it will cause, again, it will cause the code injection attack, or it may lead to code injection attack. For example, the eval function in PHP or some kind of equivalent functions. If it takes the raw input means, it may lead to code injection attack. So we have to select the proper methods or proper functions to evaluate the input values. So we can say the code injection attacks happen because of maybe programmer also, because of poor programs or poor input validation. Because most of the times we will create applications, or the developer will create application to just to meet out the targets or to meet out the client expectation. At that time, they may forget to provide proper security, or they may forget to give proper validation, or they may forget to give proper evaluation of input. So these leads to the code injection attacks. Right. Now I would like to show some types. So the first one is SQL injection. If the code is injected into the SQL query, then it will be called as SQL injection. So for example, if an application, just you may take your college application forms, your own college application form for the admissions. If the input fields are not properly validated means by giving some escape characters or by giving some termination characters, they may take over the databases. The attacker may take over the entire database or they may take over the entire application. So this is called as SQL injection. So that will be in the query part. So structured query language. In the query part, they will inject some malicious code and they will take control the entire application. The second one is cross-site scripting. So we may click one link, but unexpectedly the browser may take us to some other target link. So that means cross-site scripting. Okay. Actually, my intended page is different, but the browser takes me to some other site. So this is called as cross-site scripting. This is because of malicious code in JavaScripts. So if the JavaScript has malicious codes, this cross-site scripting can happen. And one more thing, so most of the application we know, we will use in the forms, in the HTML forms, we may use post method. But some people may have a habit of using get methods. This also will lead to this kind of cross-site scripting injection. So this is called as cross-site scripting injection. So the intended page will not open. The browser will take to some other thing. So here the hacker uses at maximum time, he will uses the JavaScripts. Sometimes the get methods, the URLs. So this is called as cross-site scripting. And the next one is OS command injection. So if we are injecting a code into the shell scripts, or if Windows means bash scripts, then that will be called as OS command injection. For example, if you are using Python language means there are some OS based libraries are there, OS based modules are there. So if you are not properly handled means, then in this area the attacker may inject some malicious code. So this is called as OS command injection. So it will affect the entire shell script or the entire shells or the entire bash scripts. And the next one, as it told, it as a common name code injection, which refers to inject the malicious code in other programming languages like Java, C++, PHP, HTML. So this will be called as code injection. So again, this will happen in the input fields only, maximum times in the input fields because of not validating those inputs, as well as maybe due to what we get. So that we may handle the evaluation schemes or evaluation functions wrongly. So because of that too, it will happen. And then, so XML external entity injection. So here, this injection will be happened in XML codes. So it will affect the DTDs. So it will affect DTDs and it will affect entire schemas so that the communication medium or the communicated data may entirely change because of the attacker. So this is called as XML external entity injection. And finally, change cipher spec, or we can say it as CCC injection. So this will be happened in SSL application. Even the attackers are targeting the SSL applications too. So they are targeting the change cipher spec. So just in the SSL application, they will change the inputs, or they will change the passwords, or they will change the usernames, and they will take the control of that particular SSL sockets, and they will take over the particular application. So that is called as change cipherspec injection or CCS injection. So these are some types of code injection attacks. So other than these also, there are a lot of code injection attacks are there. So these are the major things, major 6 attacks or major 6 code injection attacks that attacker targets. Now I would like to take a demo on how the SQL injection may happen. Right, so just I would like to show it in MySQL server. So just it's a demo of SQL injection. Let me share my screen of SQL. Yeah, right. I think people can see my SQL screen. Right, so just I created a sample database here. I named it as code underscore injection. And here there are 2 tables. Just I'm going to concentrate on this user table. Right. So here actually I'm going to have an application which is having a login name and password. Right. So just leave this ID field. So here we are having 2 fields, email and password. So my username will be as email, and my password field is for password. So here just I use the MD5 function, so it shows us a hash value. Right. You see, for admin, I kept the password as admin. Right. So just I'm giving it as select star from that particular table users. Where right, so actually this is what I have given. Right, so if I execute this query means it will show that particular email address and that particular row, or we can say the particular record it will show. Right, so here there is no problem because I'm actually giving that particular email ID and its corresponding password. So if I changed this means just I'm changing that password. So I try to execute it. You see, it doesn't return anything because the password is wrong. So it doesn't return anything. So if I give the correct password means I'm giving the correct password. So it returns the database values. Right, now you see how the attack may happen is the attacker may inject a malicious code, or he may give a wrong input. Like you see, now what I'm going to do is I'm extending my input, like I'm giving r 1 equal to 1. Right, so actually my intended input is this one only, right? So for email, admin at admin@admin.com, and for password I should supply admin. That's all. That is my intended input. But the attacker may try to supply some wrong or invalid inputs. So here what I'm giving is I'm going to supply a invalid input ORR 1 equal to 1. See, actually now the email is correct. That means that login ID is correct. The password is correct. So it is going to execute. If, let me show, if even I change the password, this is the wrong password, which I have not mentioned in that one. Now I am executing it. Still, it returns the results. So again, I am showing. See, I change the password. Okay, whatever it may be, just it may have any length. I change the password, right? And I execute. Sorry, because of length issue, it shows the error. Strike. Maybe something. And I'm executing it. Still, it shows the result. Right. This is how the attack will happen. So they are passing some extra inputs in the input field. So they are passing some extra inputs in the query field and they are getting the output. Right. Now, actually, this is in SQL. Now, I would like to take to an application. Right. So this is the application which is connected to this database. Let me first remove this data so that you can understand it better manner. So let me remove the content of this data. So actually here two records are there. I'm going to delete it. Right. So now there is it's a empty table. Okay, we can say that it's a empty table. Now I would like to insert new values. Right. I would like to insert new values. So insert right. So these are the values. I am inserting it into the particular users table. Oh, so sorry, just I forgot one thing. Want to enter it in a MD5 manner. So let me delete it and inserting it again. Right. So for email, I have given it as admin@gmail.com. And for password, I have given it as admin. So now I insert this value into my table. Right. So this is inserted. So there is only one field in this table. Right. So I am here giving the input. So this is the sample application. So that means it's a harmful, we can say it's a harmful application, or it may be fall into a victim very soon. Right. So I'm giving it as admin@gmail.com and I am entering the password as admin. So now there is no problem because I'm giving the input as expected, okay, which is in the database. Now, if I give wrong input means it won't execute. Even username wrong means it won't accept, as well as the password wrong means it won't accept. Okay, so just you can we can try any kind of password, it will not accept, right? But now, as I what I did it in SQL, I want to supply some extra data, right? So some extra data or extra inputs to the password field, right? So what I am giving is admin. Let me type it in Notepad so that you can know what I'm typing. Right, so I'm typing my username as admin@gmail.com. I'm going to password as actually this is the right password. But now what I'm going to give is AB and just or condition which I have given it in the SQL itself, and then 1 equal to 1, and I want to invalidate the code which is in my PHP code, invalidate the further codes in that particular line. So I am using a hash symbol. You see, here I am not going to supply this admin as password. I'm going to supply this one as password. So I'm giving the username as admin@gmail.com, and I'm going to supply the password, this one. You see, I'm able to sign in. See, just I'm showing one more thing. Even I'm now changing the name, username itself, right? I'm now changing the username itself, and password, this password. Now I'm trying to log in. It is permitted me to log in. Right. Again, you see, just I'm changing the length. I'm just giving only B, and I'm copying it. Again, I'm paste it. Here also, you see, the username is not admin. Actually, this is admin@gmail.com is the proper username. So, but I'm giving the username as admin, and I'm supplying this as the password. So I'm going to supply this as password. So I'm copying it and paste it. Again, you see, I'm able to log in this particular app. Right, you may wonder how it may happen. Right, let me show the input code of this particular thing. Right, so you see the same method I used, select star from that same table, username, password. Actually, what I did is, if you see that particular notepad file, you see, I'm just typing this one, right? And I'm supplying some extra input values or 1 equal to 1. I'm invalidating the further code, further lines, and I'm executing it. Okay, that's hash. It's a command line for PHP. single command line for PHP, the hashes. So actually, I'm just invalidating this code by using this hash symbol, but I'm supplying it in a new manner in the input field itself. Just the input field itself, I am supplying this P, that means for password, any other thing. And then I'm closing this single quotation and parenthesis. And then finally, I am passing R1 equal to 1. And then I'm passing the hashing just to invalidate these codes because I'm giving it in the password field itself, right? So this code should be invalidated. So this further code should be invalidated. So for that, I am passing the hash. And if this is not supplied means this single quote and closed parenthesis is not supplied means it will show error. So I am supplying, right? But I'm not supplying the exact password. I'm supplying a wrong password, but I'm getting the authentication for that particular application. So this is how the code injection will take happen. Right. So because here I'm not validating this particular password, just I'm getting this input, but I'm not validating it. So I'm not setting a constraint. So these characters should be allowed. These are not allowed. Likewise, I didn't set anything as well as I didn't validate it. So this is the main reason why we are to access this particular application. So just it's a simple SQL injection. Even you may try it in your own application itself. You may try it in your final year students projects or even your PG students project or even in your project also you can try this and same thing you will also get authenticated towards that particular application even without supplying the proper password because we people don't have the procedure or we people don't follow some programming rules like validating the inputs like these things. So the attack will happen. This is not just students or institutions only. Even big corporates are doing these kinds of mistakes. So only this code injection or code injection attacks are still now possible. So as I earlier told, so they are just fulfilling the client's expectation and the higher authorities deadlines. So because of that, many programmers forgot to do some security related checkups. Even in big programming, even in banking sector, banking applications also, at most of the time, they are forgot to uh, just validate this kind of inputs. So this is possible. Actually, I supplied this one only, right? Actually, I supplied this one. So I can supply like this and I can get just authenticated towards that application. Right. So I think now you can understand what code injection is. So even I can execute multiple what we say queries. Even I can drop my table. I may drop table users or I can execute anything database or like anything I can execute in this. If your connection object is accept this kind of query means you can execute anything and you can take over the entire database itself. So this is a simple SQL injection as I told. So similarly in Java, in C++, in PHP, in HTML, likewise, lot of things are happening while validating or while giving the inputs. So this is the main cause for the attack. Let me show why this application is permitted. Let me show the slides once again. Right. So actually, you see, this is the actual query. Select star from users where email equal to email and password equal to MD5 of password. So here I should supply that particular email ID which should be in the database. Also, I should supply the password which is in the database, so that here the condition check will be like, so email and password equal to. If it matches the database input, the database email and database password, then the access will be permitted. But here what I did is I supplied email. Maybe sometimes I supplied correct email, sometimes I supplied wrong email. And this type of what I say password. Okay, here for command line they have used it as double dash. So for some other database, for PHP, actually it is a hash symbol, right? So here I have used hash symbol. So I have supplied this. You see, actually, while supplying this, what happened, you see, this is in the form of email equal to some value and password equal to MD5 of this entire thing sits here. And you see here now one more condition is added like OR. So now actually the supplied query is and but here due to the wrong input, here one more term is given, that is OR. So what the query will do is it will check email and password where, okay, if email is wrong, false, and if password is wrong means it also should be false. So actually here it should be stop. So false and false is equal to false. So some error should be written, or true and false should be written. Either if the username is true and the password is false means true and false. So the result will be, since it is a AND gate, so our result will be false. Otherwise, if it is false and if it is true, again it is, here we are using AND gate, so it will be false. But because of wrong input, here the extra term is added. That means OR 1 equal to 1, which is always true. That means 1 equal to 1 always. So here it will be true. So you see, false and false is false. So our query will be like this, whether it may be true and false or true and true or whatever it may be. So here the OR condition comes. So if even this first part becomes false, here OR condition is there. So the result will be like select star from users where true. That means it allows the user, so even wrong users, wrong user ID, as well as it allows the wrong password too. So this is the reason why the injection attacks are happening. If here, while receiving the password in the previous segment of this snippet of this code, if I validate this, like I should not get or I should not get 1 equal to 1, or based on the language, there should be no hash function, hash symbols, or no this hyphen symbols. If I validate like this means this will not happen. So here there is no validation. So this error happened. So any user can, if he knows this simple formula means he can authenticate himself and he can enter into the particular application and he can violate anything inside the database and inside the application itself. Right. So most of the times this is happening. Right. Now, so for this, we need some solution, right? Because sometimes programmer may unaware of these things. Sometimes even programmer, if he is aware, he may use dynamic evaluations. He may use wrong dynamic evaluation function. So because of that too, this kind of errors may, or this kind of just what we say code injection may happen. So for that, we need some prevention mechanism. So for that, what I used is the replicated execution environment. Actually, there are two types are there. One is called as single version and another one is called as N version execution. So in this single version, which is a secret thing here, there are a lot of encryption. They use the lot of encryption algorithms, lot of hash algorithms. So likewise, they use and they maintain the security against this code injection attack. And the one more category is N version execution, or we can say it as multi-version execution or replicated execution. So this is a secretless. So here we are not going to use any kind of secret algorithms or encrypted algorithms or hash algorithms, but here we are going to use some versions of the same software. So this is the method which I chose for my research area. So here what actually going is, see, so replicated code execution is a runtime monitoring technique that prevents system damage resulting from malicious code execution. That means here what we are going to do is we are going to run same slightly deviated version of the same application program, which is called as variants. So by executing this variants, we are going to prevent this code injection attack, or we are going to identify this code injection attack. Right. So here, as I told, we are going to execute multiple variants of a same application. You may ask whether it is possible. Nowadays, we are using multiprocessors. We know whether we may use multiprocessors or multi-core processors. So most of the times our laptop or our mobile phones or our computers are underutilized. The resources in those computers are most of the time underutilized. Even now I'm presenting it from my laptop. I'm using i5 processor. If I check my performance statistics in the task manager means, I think most of the time I will use below 16%. That means I will use the processing capacity of only 16% of my processing capacity, as well as RAM. It's a 16 GB RAM, but I will use only 4 GB maximum times. In some applications like I will use to run some cloud environments. At that time, it may take full resources, but most of the time it will take 16 to 20% of processing power, as well as when comes to the RAM, it may take up to only 4 GB out of 16 GB. So most of the time it is underutilized. So we have to make a proper utilization. So for that, we are executing at different variants of a same process along with the original application. So this will make processor always busy because n number of variants will be executed. So it will keep processor always busy. If user tries to send some kind of malicious code means, he may send to one variant only. He cannot send to all the variant. He cannot supply input to all the variant. So by we are defining some synchronization points to check whether all the variants are having same behavior. So by checking this at some defined synchronization points, we can find whether our system is under attack or not. So this is the key idea of this replicated execution environment. But actually, so there are previously till 2011, also there are a lot of this multivariant and replicated execution environment are there. But in those things, there are some problems. Like, so the variants are supplied with the identical copies of inputs. Right? Sometimes same copies are inputs are supplied to all the variants. So again, this may lead to code injection attack. Sometimes in some proposals, you might see all the variants may share a common memory. Again, this also may leads to code injection attack. And sometimes all the variants may behave in a common manner due to these identical inputs or due to common shared memory. They may all the variants may behave similarly. So we cannot conclude whether the particular variant is under attack or not. So here, what I in my research I proposed is I created a secured environment. So I created a secured environment to execute these replicas or to execute these variants. So the original program is executed along a single variant or multiple variant with in specification execution behavior in a secured environment. So the in specification execution behavior is not going to be changed. That means that original functionalities of that applications are not going to be changed. We are going to change some registries, some kind of libraries. So these things only we are going to change in the variant so that the actual functionalities of the original program will be maintained in the all the variants. Right? So, and then the execution behavior will be checked in the secured environment. So this will be generated by in an automatic manner. So all the variants will be generated in an automatic manner. So here, how we are going to detect that attack is, so we are going to see the discrepancies in the variants. So as I told, we are going to execute in a secured environment. So there we are going to keep a monitor. So there we are going to monitor. So what is happening or what is which variant executes which system calls or which variant executes in a particular time or which variants passes particular set of arguments. Likewise, we are going to check. So this will be checked against the original program too. That means original application too. So if there is any discrepancies among variants or among the original program and variants, then there is a certain attack which is happened. So that we can recover from that, or at least we can alter our system. Actually, in this proposed system, just it's a detecting thing only. I'm not going to just recover from that. Just I'm not give solution to recovery. Just it's a identification method, just to identify and to stop that particular malicious software from executing it from our own machines or from our servers. Right. So this is the thing environment. Say it's our underlying hardware with an operating system. In the operating system, we can run any number of conventional applications with the help of this operating system. And here I'm going to give or I'm going to provide a secure environment, as I told. So I'm going to create a secure environment here, which is called, I named it as multivariant monitor. With the help of virtual machines, I achieved this. The help of virtual machines, I achieved this one. And here, so every machine will run a different variant. So here variant one, but the specification, as I told, the basic functionalities will not be changed. it will be common for all the variants. So for example, if I I created an application to withdraw cash from the ATM counter means, just for example, I'm saying, so I created an application to withdraw cash from the ATM counter means, so the functionalities will be like ATM check. That means it will check the ATM and it will verify the account number, it will verify the password, it will check the balance whether it is available or not, and if the balance is available, it will just dispense the cash, or otherwise it will give some error, like it will throw some exception like the cash not available or the dispenser cannot dispense the cash at that time. So this is the basic functionality of that particular withdrawal application, cash withdrawal application in the ATM counter. So this basic functionality will not be changed or will not be compromised in any of the variants. So it will be kept as it is. But as I told, the registries and the libraries and some certain things which are non-specified, non-functionality things, that will be changed. And all the variants will be executed in a parallel manner. Right. So this will be in this particular secure environment. Right now, so how we are going to generate these variants or these replicas? So we are going to use some modified compilers. So for example, if I am using C++ means, so I'm going to use some modified compilers with modified registry translations. So with the help of this, we can achieve this auto replicate generator. So I can give my source code. So this modified compiler will generate different kind of variants. So based on the registry entries and based on, as I told, the libraries, it will generate variants thing, because here we are having modified compiler, which is having modified registry translators, and here we are having modified library, and finally we are getting the multivariants. Right now, so I told in some synchronization points only we are going to check whether the attack is happened or not. So here the synchronization points are system calls, and the next one is argument list. That means that argument list for the particular system calls, and the time delay. So how much time it costs. Right, the first one is system call. So why I chose this system call is, so each and every task will execute, or each and every function of that particular application will execute some kind of system calls. Yes. So for example, as I told that in that banking counter, so if I insert a ATM card means, it will execute a system call in a background, like to check the ATM card, to validate whether it has the it has validity, whether it is which bank card, which kind of card, and that the input tape, that magnetic tape is correct or not. So likewise, all these things will be executed as a system calls. So we know, so all these will be executed as some system functions, right? So here I have just checking the system calls with one variant with another. So here SI for all SI and SIJ. So if SI equal to SIJ means, that means, so SI is the system call invoked by the variant PI. So that SJ is a system call invoked by the variant PJ. So if both of these are equal means, while invoking the system call, if both of the system call is equal means, then there is no attack. If The variant 1 is executing a system call and variant 2 is executing some other system call means then there is a attack. So this is one synchronization point. So for while invoking a system call, we are going to check whether the system is under attack or not. At the same time, we are not going to only check the system calls alone. We are going to check the list of arguments too. Right. So for all AI of j, AI of k, so it should be equal. That means the type as well as the content of the arguments in this system call should be always equal. So AI of j is argument list. That means ith argument of jth variant and ith argument of kth variant. It should be equal. So likewise, all the things should be, all the way arguments should be equal in type as well as in content. So here also, if it is violated, if here any of the things, whether the type or whether the content is not equal means again, there is a attack. Next, return type. Okay, so if a system call executed means certainly it will return some kind of results. So again, we are going to check the results too. That means the return type too. So again, we are going to check the return type. So A equal to B. That is return type of A, it should be P. So here that is we are going to check type as well as the argument. Otherwise, we can check the entire content of that particular return value. So entire value of that particular return, whether it is same or not. So likewise, in the argument list, also we are going to validate, and the return type also we are going to validate. So if any deviations in, first I told in system calls, so there also it will be attacked. If the argument list vary, so there also will be that system is under attack. And here in the return type also we are checking. And the third one is the time delay. Just we are calculating the time delay. So for all system call, we are going to check with TI and TS. That means TI is the system call, the time taken by the variant V, sorry, PI for the particular system call, and TS for another one variant system call. So it should be in an acceptable range. Should be in acceptable milliseconds, right? If this is maintained means, so certainly we can say our system is in safe zone. If in these three conditions, that is in system call, the argument list, again in argument list, we can subclassify to what I say, that return type also, and the time delay by every variant. All these things should be acceptable. If all these things are acceptable means, then certainly we can say our system is under safe. Otherwise, here any of the places is violated, whether in system call or argument or return type or in time delay. If we found any deviations mean or discrepancies means, just we are also a victim of this particular attack, or we are also a victim of that particular code injection attack. So this is the thing, solution for this code injection attack which I proposed. But as I told, it also will have some kind of drawbacks. So here's some performance drawbacks which I found. Right, just I have shown a graph. So single core, dual core, quad core. So how it handles the variants. So in Unicore processor, we are not going to execute this replicated environment because If in Unicode processor, if two variants executes, the system call means the performance goes up to 100. So it will hang. The system will hang. Even in dual core also, you see just it's going up to 80% for two variants. So this performance measure is for only two variants. And for quad core, okay, it's okay, it's reasonable, right? The same thing you see for some system calls like ptrace, FIFO, shared memory, you can see the time delay, right? So it take a lot of time to execute the particular system calls, because as I told, we are executing multiple variants, so that what we say, we are executing multiple variant, so the processor will be always in a busy state. So executing a system call will take a little bit longer than its usual time. So this is its drawback, so that performance overhead. But we can solve this by increasing the infrastructure of our computers or infrastructure of our servers, because till nowadays we are using octa-core processors, octa-core, hexa-core. Even in server side also we are using the processors which are very advanced. So these advanced processors will somewhat solve this problem. But here we are giving, comparing to the performance, we are giving more importance to the security. So that is the reason. Just we are ignoring, I am ignoring the performance, because we know however in upcoming days the infrastructure will be improved. So even nowadays, even for commercial purpose also, Mac released 128 GB of RAM. So this will be solved very quickly, and this performance overhead will be decreased. And just I would like to propose some future works for this code injection attacks. So these code injection attacks can be prevent using deep learning concepts. So researchers nowadays research are going in this field. So using deep learning, uh, this can be solved, as well as by using machine learning, self-learning technique. So also this this code injection attacks can be stopped. And one more thing, by using the blockchain, so which is very recent technology. By using blockchain, we can stop the code injection attack, because the blockchain that also will have some performance overhead, because blockchain need lot of storage, lot of memory, lot of computation power, because it has to store every blocks, each and every block it has to store. So it needs a large infrastructure. Even deep learning, machine learning, it needs a large infrastructure. But as I already told in the previous slide, nowadays these things are solved, because many of the providers like IBM, Lenovo, Apple, so they are providing very high computational power, very high memory, very high storage in a commercial manner. So these things can be solved in future, and just we can prefer their research in this area, in the prevention of this code injection attack, deep learning, machine learning, blockchain. So actually now I am trying to extend my research in this blockchain field. So why I am taking this one is, so actually already the time is 6:30. Just I would like to show one slide, because there is not time. So just two things I want to share. First one is, so whenever we are talking about blockchain, most of the people are thinking about Bitcoin. See, actually, blockchain is different, Bitcoin is different. Both are not equal. So for example, I usually say if you are taking blockchain as operating system, Bitcoin, that is blockchain as a system software, the Bitcoin will be act as a application software. like MS Office or some other browser. That means Bitcoin make use of the blockchain concept, but it is not a blockchain. So this clarification we should have, because we are having large amounts of crypto coins and protocols like Bitcoin, like Ethereum, Bitcoin, and some kind of smart contracts too. So the blockchain is entirely different from Bitcoin, right? So actually, why I am extending this research to blockchain is here it has 4 key characteristics. One is consensus, second one is provenance, third one is immutability, and last one is penalty. So consensus in the sense, so every party, so here in the blockchain, it will be executed in a distributed manner. So every party should accept some kind of smart contracts. There will be some smart contracts. So they will agree and they will come together based on that smart contract, and based on that smart contract only they will work. So they will just agree those contracts, and based on that contracts each and every people will take the decision. So there they will not change that contracts, or they will not disobey that contract, so that consensus will be maintained. And the provenance in the sense, so that it's each and every what I can say. So here I explained it as system call, argument list, time delay. So here everything is stored as a transaction. In blockchain, everything is each and every movements are stored as a transaction, or each and every actions are stored as a transaction. So here the provenance will be maintained. So the owners, so who initiate the transaction, who entered the transaction, so these provenance will be maintained. So one person initiated the transaction means, so he cannot deny that I am not initiated. So likewise, this provenance is maintained. And immutability, the very important key characteristics of the blockchain is immutability. That means you cannot reverse a transaction. If we want to cancel a transaction means we have to redo the transaction. That means we have to initiate as a new transaction. For example, if I am sending 1,000 rupees to one more person means, now I want to cancel this means we cannot cancel. That means that person B has to send that 1,000 rupees to me. That is that it should be recorded as a new transaction. So it cannot be changed or cannot be overwritten. So that is very important property of blockchain. And finally, finality. So the original owners and the original receivers, so all the things will be maintained. So from whom it started, and who are all participated in the transaction, and with whom the transaction is ended. So likewise, the entire things will be recorded and stored in a immutable manner. So because of these characteristics, I like to extend my research area into this. But just now I'm going to finish this research work. But just I'm taking it as a my future work. So just I'm doing this, or I'm going to do this in the future. So we have seen just an overview of some security attacks and its statistics, and an overview of security till this. And so we have discussed the code injection attacks and its types. We have seen a demo because just I showed a demo because we have to aware of this one, because a lot of us are executing some kind of applications in our institutions or maybe in our workplaces, and students also create some application and give it to us. So we have to little bit careful while validating the inputs. So for that reason only, just I showed this demo. But that is also very what we say. Just how this is what in this manner only the code injection attack will happen in this manner. So just show the prevention mechanism. So just I introduced here. And finally, I have shown some performance issues and some future research work that we can carry out for this code injection attack. And finally, just I couldn't complete this blockchain intro completely, but just I think I given some idea to this, or I have added something to your knowledge. Like, so up to this, I want to conclude my presentation. So if you have any queries means you can ask. I think just this 90 minutes is very useful to all of you and I'm not bored. I think so. Okay, anyway, thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Very useful session.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Participants, kindly ask your queries.
Good evening. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yeah. Good evening, sir. Thank you for the very lovely presentation. I just wanted to, it's not a query, but can you please elaborate on the difference between Bitcoin and blockchain? As you mentioned that many people are under the impression that Bitcoin and blockchain are the same, but obviously they are not. But can you like highlight the major like differences or how to ensure that we, many people don't assume that blockchain and Bitcoin are the same? Thank you.
Yeah, yes, sir. Actually, Bitcoin is an application of blockchain. If we want to simply say means, Bitcoin is a application of blockchain. It make uses of some protocols and smart contracts from the blockchain concepts. That's all. So entirely it is different. So just it make use of the blockchain concepts. That's all. But it is a cryptocurrency and it is a different protocol. So what I explained it as an example. So if you take the blockchain as a system software means the Bitcoin is just application software. Just without the system software's help, the application software couldn't run. So that is what here also. So with the help of blockchain concepts like smart contracts, shared ledgers, the Bitcoin is still live. That's all.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, madam.
Sir, could you please explain what is the function of modified compiler, sir? Because we know compiler is a system software which translates source code into machine code, but you said modified compiler. Any additional features are there, sir?
Yeah, no, madam. Actually, this is customized compilers for the purpose of automatic variant generation. So here what I did is, so here I have just redefined some registries and some libraries. That's all.
Okay.
That's all. So because I want automatic variant generation, otherwise I have to write the code in, I have to write a code in manual. So it will take lot of time. So even in the production itself, it will take lot of time. So for that purpose, I predefinedly create some compilers with some modified libraries and modified registry translators. So with the help of that, I can create the replication automatically. So for that purpose only, I am using that. Other than that, so as you told, it's a system software only,
Yes.
just with slight modifications. That's all.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
So this is actually executed in GCC. So even you can get the GCC open source code, and even you can create your own compiler by modifying. You can do little bit modifications in that.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Sir, and one more question, sir. How to overcome the deadlock, sir, occurred in synchronization?
Ma'am, actually here, yeah, just actually I didn't explain that one. Here, if a system call executes, if it begins to execute a system call means, it will hold the entire process to complete the execution of that particular system call.
Okay, sir.
As well as I told, it is in a secured environment. So everything is, every variant is executed from a different virtual machines. And I'm connected those virtual machines one to one.
One-to-one virtual machine. Okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah. So there is there is no possibility for deadlocks.
We extend one to many means there is a possibility to deadlock.
Maybe, but I didn't try that one.
Okay, sir. Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, madam.
I am actually a layman to this digital field, but still the session was very useful and very much informative, sir. Today, I also came across something like this. I went to the Ramnath passport office to renew my daughter's passport. There, they gave the receipt for ₹1,000, but I had paid through my online application from my home without anybody's help, some 2,500. I didn't even think about it when I was paying that it was 2,500 from my home. I asked without shy, why to only 1,000 you have given the receipt? What about 2,500? I showed my application also. He told someone had hacked. So the same thing had gone. Is it the same thing what you have told or not? I don't know. But I have lost my money. But I got other things, the procedures done, and I came here. Maybe the passport will be issued without any problem. But still, he told someone had a hacked when you applied, and they have gathered your data, and they have applied on your behalf. But I have paid 2,500, which is not the cost of renewal application, sir. So there's something had correlated today.
Yeah, actually, we are thinking that hacking is a very toughest one and very biggest one, but actually, the hackers know these simple steps. So whenever we are using uh, uh, get methods in HTML forms, whether you may use JSON or React.js or JavaScript, advanced level JavaScripts, Angular, whatever it may be, if the form uses the get method means anyone can hack your username or password. The one thing. The second thing, as I told it in this presentation, the proper input validation. If the proper input validation is not done means surely even just I'm telling it for the informative, but don't try this. Even sometimes Google also having this flaw. But if you try for 3 or 4 times means you will be under surveillance. So don't try this in your homes or don't try this. But even Google, we are thinking it's a tech giant, but they are also having its drawback in their Gmail or YouTube logins. Till this they are having.
So do we have any chance to identify, because nowadays we are applying everything from home only for simple exams, or even for my daughter I applied through not through the net centers for the 10th exams. I applied only from my home. Since she did in the private study, NIOS. So any possibility that we can also identify?
Ma'am, actually, I'm not sure about that. Maybe in future it may possible, but for that reason only, just I'm extending my research to the blockchain, because in blockchain, as I told, so every transactions will be recorded, maybe by government or maybe by private sectors, so that we can get it from cyber police or some other department related to that. So for that reason, because till date in India, it is not fully implemented. But if the researchers are moving to blockchain means, and we research peoples getting into blockchain, and we try to solve these security related issues in blockchain means, Surely in India it will be implemented, and soon, very soon, as you told, even we can also track who just hacked this thing. Like this, we also can track this one.
I am also advised by the passport office to just get into the patrol and make a complaint, but surely I don't have time or I don't have knowledge about it. So this sort of unawareness should go, but how far it is going to do. But anyways, wish you good luck, sir, for
Yeah,
your
thank you,
further research to come fruitful. Thank you for the information, and thank you, my friend Dr. Sendil Kumari, too, for having given the nice presenter, mashallah. Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, madam.
Thank you, ma'am.
Participants, anybody want to ask questions? Queries?
Bhuvneshwari, ma'am. Why do you raise your hands? Any queries? You can unmute and ask the query. No more queries? Shall we close the session? Usha, you can proceed, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Next, I would like to call Ms. Naha Jyoti, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science, to share the feedback.
Good evening, everyone. I am very happy to share my feedback about this today's session. I am sure first day of this 5-day faculty development program is really an eye-opening session for us to do research in a right way. This session is extremely useful and informative. Our resource person, Mr. John Samuel, did a nice job of explaining complicated topic and the network security with real-time examples. He clearly explained code injection, different types of code injection, prevention mechanism, and blockchain and Bitcoin. Thank you so much, sir. This session is very useful for us. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Naha Jyoti, ma'am. The roots of all goodness lie in the soil of appreciation for goodness. Next, I would like to call Ms. J. Fatima Halima, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science, to propose the vote of thanks.
Good evening, one and all present here. I feel honored and privileged to get an opportunity to propose a vote of thanks in this occasion. I take immense pleasure in extending my sincere thanks to our beloved principal, Dr. Sumaya, the dynamic and flexible person in all the academic matters of gracing the occasion. I'm grateful to our director, Dr. M.S. Irfan Ahmed, for his moral support and guidance to us. Then I express my gratitude to our head in charge, Mrs. Sendil Kumari, for her valuable guidance to us in our all our academic activities. I am very happy. I am very much thankful to Mr. John Samuel, Assistant Professor, Saidamal Engineering College, Ramanathapuram, for spending your valuable time and sharing your knowledge with our participants and help them to enhance their knowledge technically. And I'm happy to express my thanks to our participants and our faculty members for this, for their moral support. Finally, I would like to convey my thanks to all our participants in this FDP. Once again, I thank you all.
Thank you, Halima, ma'am. Thank you all participants. Participants kindly join at 6:20 p.m. for tomorrow's session. That means 10 minutes. 6:20 p.m. for tomorrow's session. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am.
Ma'am, thank you.
Ma'am, good
Thank you,
evening,
ma'am.
ma'am. Ma'am,
Kindly all of you fill attendance sheet and feedback form. Then leave from the team.
ma'am, please share it feedback form, ma'am.
Ma'am,
I have shared in the chat box.
Ma'am, chat is not available, ma'am.
good evening, ma'am.
Ma'am, chat box is
Yeah,
not
chat is
available
not
for
visible,
us.
ma'am, actually.
Not available,
Hello.
madam.
There is a problem, ma'am. It's not visible. We are using another ID, ma'am. This is not like it's not easy user friendly like Zoom and Google Meet like that. Only team members only can.
Yes, ma'am, chat box is not available.
Okay, ma'am. No problem. I will share in the group.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you
Okay,
very
ma'am.
much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you very much.